Have you ever found yourself in the passenger seat of a car with someone else driving, and your foot keeps instinctively pressing on an imaginary brake pedal? You have, haven't you? Or maybe you've watched someone load a dishwasher incorrectly and you felt this almost physical urge to step in and rearrange the entire thing. This feeling, this impulse to step in, to guide, to manage, to control, is one of the most fundamental and misunderstood energies of the human experience. We often label it, don't we? We call it being a control freak, or bossy, or type A. We see it as a flaw, a thing to be suppressed. But what if I told you that this energy at its core isn't a flaw? What if it's a sacred gift, a drive planted within us to ensure the well-being of our tribe, to manage our world, and to steward our resources with wisdom and care? What if the challenge isn't to kill the impulse, but to transmute it, to elevate it from a place of fear to a place of love? Tonight, I want to explore this energy with you. We're going to use a fascinating map, a descriptive language for the human spirit called human design. Now, don't worry, this isn't about putting you in a box. Think about human design not as a rigid set of rules, but as a kind of poetry for the soul. It offers us words for the invisible forces that shape us, and we are going to learn about one of its most powerful words tonight. A word that corresponds to an energy center in the very heart of our willpower. An energy the ancients called biting through. Ancient Chinese called it biting through. What does this mean? Well, this is a story of human design gate 21. And by understanding its story, I promise you, you may just come to understand and perhaps even love a profound part of yourself and of each other. So let's get our bearings on this inner map. Imagine your being has different energy centers. There's a center for processing information, a center for that primal life force, a center for identity and love. Gate 21 lives in what's called the heart or the willpower center. Now, this isn't the heart of Hallmark cards and romance. It's in this language, the heart center is the engine of willpower. It's the seat of the ego, our sense of self-worth and our connection to the material world. Its motto is simply, I will. It's the part of us that makes promises, that commits, that has the grit to provide for our family, our community, and our tribe. Gate 21 is one of the key voices from this center. It's the archetypal hunter or huntress. It's the energy that scans the horizon and says, the tribe needs food. The tribe needs shelter. The tribe needs security. I will go out and I will ensure we have what we need. It is fundamentally about the management and control of resources for the survival and prosperity of the group. The ancient Chinese Book of Wisdom, the I Ching, from which human design draws so much of its roots, calls this energy the hexagram 21, or shi ke, or what we've said, biting through. The image is the teeth biting through an obstacle to get to the juicy meat inside. It symbolizes the need for decisive action, to remove a blockage, to correct an injustice, to restore order, so that nourishment, both literal and physical and metaphorical, can flow again. This energy doesn't operate in a vacuum. It has a partner. Gate 21, the hunter, is designed to work with Gate 45. We could call it the king or queen, which is the voice of the tribe. Think of it like this. The king, Gate 45, sits on the throne and says, my people need a granary to survive the winter. We have a vision for this. And the treasurer, Gate 21, stands up and says, I will make it happen, and I will manage the budget, I will organize the labor, and I will guard the grain. One is the voice of the possession I have, and the other is the will of execution I control. Together, they form what is known as the money line, not because it's all about greed, but because it's all about mastery of the material plane. When these two energies work in harmony, a tribe thrives. When they are in conflict, well, we've seen what happens when the vision of leadership is disconnected from the practical realities of the treasury. Now, the secret of human design is that we have access to all 64 of these archetypal energies. Some of us have Gate 21 defined in our personal chart, meaning it's a consistent, reliable theme in our nature. For others, it's open, meaning we learn about it and take it in from the world around us. But every single one of us is in a lifelong relationship with this energy of control. And that relationship can be measured. Think of it like a sound mixing board with 3 sliders. For this energy, so the first is intensity. How strongly do you feel the need to take charge? Is it a gentle nudge or a roaring fire? The second is frequency. How often does it show up? Is it a rare impulse in a crisis or your daily mode of operation? But the third slider is the most important. It is the slider of quality. And this is where the journey truly begins, because the quality of our control can range from destructive shadow to a divine, life-giving gift. Let's talk about how the low end of the quality slider, the shadow of Gate 21 is. It's control, but it's control born of fear. It's the manager who needs to approve every single email before it's sent. It's the parent who tracks their teenager's phone not for safety, but to quell their own anxiety. It's that inner voice in our own head that says, if you don't do it all yourself perfectly, everything will fall apart. The shadow of control is a prison we build for ourselves and then try to lock others in with us. It stems from a deep belief in scarcity. A scarcity of trust, a scarcity of support, a scarcity of faith. It's the belief that the universe is a hostile, chaotic place, and we are the lone soldier responsible for holding it all together. The scriptures of my own faith speak of this with a heartbreaking wisdom. They warn that it is the nature of almost all men. As soon as they get a little authority, they will immediately begin to exercise unrighteous dominion. This isn't a condemnation, it's a diagnosis of the human condition. When we feel small and scared, we grasp for power. We try to control others to soothe our own inner turmoil. But the text goes on to say that when we do this, the heavens withdraw themselves. Our influence shrivels. Our leadership becomes a hollow exercise in coercion. We have all felt this. We have all been on the receiving end of it. And if we are honest, we have dished it out. This is the shadow, but it is not the end of the story. Because life, in its infinite mercy, has a way of teaching us the limits of our own control. The project we manage perfectly fails anyway. The person we tried to change refused to bend. We get sick, we lose a job, we face a storm we cannot command. And in the moment of forced surrender, we are given a choice. We can double down in fear, or we can open our hands and move up the slider of quality to the gift of the Gate 21. We'll call it authority. Authority is not the same as control. Control is taken. Authority is given. It is earned through trust and competence and genuine desire to serve. When you are operating from the gift of authority, you don't need to micromanage. Your presence is enough. You lead because you are safe. You lead because you are a safe harbor, not a stormy sea. Think of the teacher whose classroom is calm and engaged, not because she is a drill sergeant, but because her students know she is fair and she believes in them. Think of the quiet leader in a community who, when they speak, everyone listens because their words have been forged in integrity. That is authority. It is the energy of the responsible steward who says, I will take care of this for all of us. They don't just bite through the problems, they build bridges over them. But there is a level even beyond this. The highest expression of this energy, the quality so refined it becomes luminous. The ancient texts call it, they like to call it valor. Valor is more than just courage. Valor is courage steeped in love. It is the complete transmutation of the ego's need to control into the soul's desire to selflessly serve. It's the firefighter running into the burning building. It's the mother who finds superhuman strength to protect her child. It's George Washington, after winning a revolution, having the power to become king and choosing instead to resign his commission and go home, an act that shocked the world and gave a nation its freedom. The valorous leader is not afraid of losing control because they are not attached to it. Their security comes not from the grip of power, but from their alignment with a purpose greater than themselves. This is where, for me, the language of human design points to something eternal. The flawless archetype of this valorous leadership is found in the life of Jesus Christ. Here was a being who had, by his own admission, all power. He could command legions of angels, calm the seas, heal the sick, ultimate control. Yet, how did he use it? He used it to wash the feet of his followers. He used it to feed the hungry. He used it to include the outcast. And in the ultimate act of valor, in the Garden of Gethsemane, he, who could have controlled the entire situation, surrendered his personal will, saying, not my will, but thine be done. This is the profound paradox of Gate 21. Ultimate control is achieved through righteous surrender. True authority flows to the one who makes themselves the servant of all. When our will is aligned with divine will, we don't need to force outcomes. We become conduits for miracles. This journey from control to authority to valor is a dance we are all learning. I tried to capture this in a poem we'll call The Steward's Hands. My hands at first were fists of fear clenched on the coins of the passing year. I built my walls with stones of mine and trusted no will, no hand but thine. I measured the grain, I counted the cost, terrified that all would be lost. My grip was iron, my jaw was tight, a lonely king in the fading light. Then came a storm I could not command, that ripped the reins right out of my hand. Then came a silence, a humbling blow, that forced my fists to finally let go. And in that space, that open palm, a strange and unfamiliar calm, my hands, once weapons, learned to cup the falling rain that lifted up. Now, these same hands, they feel the breeze. They plant the seeds of future trees. They still work hard, they build and mend, but as a servant, as a friend, they know the strength in a gentle touch and not demanding overmuch. But the greatest treasure I came to find was the peace I gained when I lost my mind, to the King of Kings, whose love provides and in whose open hands mine own confides. So, what do we do with this? How do we take this beautiful, complex idea and live it? It starts by listening to our own internal counsel. Imagine that all the parts of you are sitting around a table. Your emotions are there, your intuition is there, your logic is there. Gate 21, the treasurer, is there too, advising on resources, plans, and risks. Your job as the CEO of your own life is to listen to the counselors, but to let your true highest self, your inner authority, guided by the divine, by the Spirit, make the final call. If your emotions are in a storm, your authority might say to Gate 21, thank you for the plan, but we need to wait for clarity. If your gut instinct screams no, you honor that. Even if Gate 21 thinks the deal looks good on paper, you learn to let Gate 21 be brilliant, a trusted advisor, not an anxious tyrant. And you start small. You practice. Dr. Jordan Peterson powerfully suggests that the antidote to the chaos of the world is to set your house in order. This is a Gate 21 principle. Don't try to control the world. Start with your own room. Start with your own schedule. Start with your own promises. Can you exert your will with authority over the small kingdom of you? Can you keep a promise to yourself to wake up in 15 minutes earlier? Can you manage your own budget with honesty? This is where the real work is done. It's not glamorous. It's the daily practice of biting through our own procrastination, our own excuses. There's a story of someone that once worked with a woman. Let's call her Maria. She was the quintessential Gate 21 shadow. She ran her family with military precision. She controlled the finances, the schedule, the social lives of her children. And she was exhausted, resentful, and her family was suffocating. One day, she got the flu and was bedridden for a week. She was forced to let go. And a miracle happened. Her husband, who she thought was incapable, cooked every meal. Her teenage son, who she saw as irresponsible, organized the chores for the younger kids. Her daughter confided in her for the first time in a month, feeling the space to finally breathe. When Maria recovered, she didn't pick the reins back up in the same way. She started holding family councils. She gave her kids budgets for their own expenses. She asked her husband for his opinion. She moved from controller to chief encouragement officer. Her family just didn't survive. They began to thrive. And Maria, for the first time in years, felt a deep sense of peace. She was still the steward, but she was no longer alone in this invitation of Gate 21. To look at the areas of your life where our hands are clenched in a white knuckle grip and to ask, what if I just loosened? What if I trusted my partner, my team, my children? What if I trusted God? That the energy of the hunter and the huntress is vital. We need people who can take charge, who can manage resources, who can lead with courage. Our world needs noble stewards. But we must remember the lessons of the greatest leaders, the lessons taught by the Master himself. True power is perfected in love. It is wielded most effectively with gentleness and with persuasion and with an open and serving heart. So the next time you feel the impulse to grab the imaginary brake or to rearrange the dishwasher, smile. Recognize that powerful protective hunter within you. Thank it for wanting to keep you safe. And then gently ask it a question. Well, don't ask, how can I control this? But ask, how can I serve this? Or ask, how can I bring order here with love? Ask, what would valor do right now? Do that. And you will not only set your house in order, you will become a light that helps order the world. You will become the kind of leader people follow, not out of fear, but out of love. And you will find that the dominion that flows to you without force is more powerful and more peaceful than anything you could have ever grasped for. Thank you, and good night.